Good morning. Today in geomorphology, we are going to study about orogeny basically. So, mountain orogeny. Um, an orogeny is an event that leads to both structural deformation and decompositional difference of Earth's lithosphere that at convergent plate boundaries and an orogeny or orogenic belt develops when a continental plates crumble and it moves upward, it uplifts from one or more mountain ranges, and this involves a series of geological processes collectively called as orogenesis. Okay, like synchlorogeny is an event that occurs during the and orogenic processes. Okay, so when we are talking about orogeny, the three types of plate boundaries we know already, that are convergent plate boundaries, divergent plate boundaries, and transverse plate boundaries. Now, this is how it is. It looks like over in the Earth's surfaces. If you see here, various parts of the Earth move in a different directions. Like it converge with each other, or it diverge from one another, and or it also moves along the slide along the each border or the plate boundaries. Okay, like convergent plate boundaries will give rise to mountain fold mountains and plateaus. uh, then you have that is continental. That is then you have convergent plate boundaries will also have trenches. If you see here in this image, this this a this plate is subducting under this continental crust. Okay, so there is a gap in this that will cause a trench like formation here. Okay, and divergent plate boundaries, when two plates are moving apart, okay, it is moving in two different direction, that will also have a ridge like formation here. Okay, so this ridge is formed on divergent plate boundaries. Then you have transverse plate boundaries, when two plates are of different alignment. Like there is a divergent plate boundary here, there is a divergent plate boundary here, and they are sliding along it. The border of two different plates are transverse plate boundaries. So this is a brief of about plate boundaries that we have been learning on and off while we are trying to explain the basis of the basic understanding for geomorphology. So the origin of mountains, that is orogeny, that is a process of mountain building, takes tens of millions of years, usually produce a long linear structures. So this produce a long linear structure. Okay, now what happens here is orogenesis is a process of mountain building. So we have learned about it, that it is a mountain building processes. So orogeny is primarily a mechanism which mountains are built on continents. The world, this word, the orogeny, has been taken from ancient Greek, which means oro means on a mountain, and genesis means change, modification, or creation. Genesis means basically origin or creation. Okay, so although it was used before by an American geologist, that is G.K. Gilbert, has initiated this idea in 1890s, describing the process of mountain building as a distinguished form of epirogenic activities. So we have in mountain building, in earth movement system, we have studied about or epirogenic activities, like activity which earth is lifted up. Okay, so in that, the epirogenic activity in Gilbert, jk GK Gilbert, in 1890s, described epirogenic activities. So epirogenic, or that is is an upliftment of the basic land from the tectonic plate through sedimentation during the accretion and zenith and breakup of subcontinents during that period. Okay, so no, let's not further take in detail of aperogenesis. We will go into the further into the physiography later on. First, let's try to understand the two main processes of orogenic, that is deformation and building up. So deformation in deformation processes continental collision resulting into folds and thrust foldings. Okay, and we have volcanic activities. The other processes is metamorphism, intrusion, and batholithic activities in the on the continents. So the types of mountains, according to this orogenic activities that develops, are either fault block mountains, fold mountains, volcanic activities of volcanoes, and complex, which is a mixture of both, fold and fault, and and also volcanic activities. Okay, so fault block mountain, fault block mountains is basically a tensional and normal faulting activities. Okay, whereas fold mountains is a compressional and reversal folding or faulting activities. Volcanic eruption is a shield in composite activities and mixtures, and complex, building mountain materials are mixtures of all the above mentioned activities. Now let's go into briefly go into the physiography of the mountain buildings. Is that the two processes that contributes to the formation of the orogenic, that is the delimitation of orogenic route into the asthenosphere. So what happens in asthenosphere, that is the bottom, or this bottom of the area where it is subducting into the lithospheric plate, to mantle and beneath. Okay, like let's go into the image previously that I was showing you. Okay, here. So this is what is happening in subduction. So this asthenosphere, it is going into the asthenosphere, into the another plate under this area. Okay, so this leads to two processes, which is differentially located metamorphic rocks, and provide evidences as the process which actually occurs at the convergent plate boundaries. So it only happens on the convergent plate boundaries, where you have trenches. You will come across this type of delimitation of plates. Okay, subduction of orogenic, oceanic plates beneath the continental plate, to form a accretionally orogenesis, that is, for example, continental collision of two main continental plate to form a collisional orogeny. So the typically continental crust is subducted to lithospheric depth. Okay, so it goes below lithospheric depth here. Okay, so for mm, metamorphism and other activities along these plate boundaries takes place. So the rock which keeps on going and subducting into it, it goes under the pressure and heat, and it changes the rock material, the basic rock material, primary rock material changes, and it metamorphizes into metamorphic rocks, right? So orogenic take place because of the convergence of plate boundaries, and it may take the form of subduction, or subduction and abduction to two plate boundaries. One of the plate boundary will go to subduct under the abducted plate boundaries. Okay, so the convergence of the two and more continent to form a collision is a orogeny. Okay, now orogeny typically produce orogenic belt, which are elongated region of deformation bordering continental creation, and young orogenic belts, in which subduction is still taking place, are characterized by frequent volcanic activity. So when there is a young plate which is subducting under a plate, it will have what do volcanic activities. The old subducted plate will have a fold mountains and block mountains in these areas. Okay. Uh, yeah. So volcanic activities, yeah, young orogenic belts will have a volcanic activity, and it will associate with the frequent earthquakes. So older or orogenic belts are typically deeply eroded or exposed to display and deformed strata, and are often highly metamorphized. So um, and it will include a vast body of intrusive igneous rocks called batholites. So wherever we have old convergent boundaries, we will have to see we will get to see more exposed batholitic rocks. Orogenic belt are associated with subduction zones, which consume crust. Thickness of lithosphere produces earthquakes and volcanoes, and often build island arcs. So these island arcs are maybe added into continental margin during a accretionally orogenesis. Okay, so the orogeny may accumulate, cumulative with continental crust, and opposite side of the subducting orogenic. Alright, the process of orogeny can take tens of millions of years and build mountains from what were once a sedimentary basin. So activity along the orogenic belt can be extremely long lived, and for example much of the basement underlying the areas that areas, let me think about United States. If you go, that is Proterozoic provinces, that is Eurasian mountain ranges, are ancient heart of ancient rock mountains. It is almost about 2 million years in the Paleozoic time era. So then you have Mazart orogenesis, Yapi orogenesis, where the peak of the orogenic activity during this time, uh, you know, uh, were taking place. Now there were parts of extended period of orogenic activities that included, pericusis of orogeny and accumulated in the Galvani orogenesis. The last thing, lasting at the about 6 million years back, that is a similar consequences of orogenesis were taking place. So it was the tectonic model of protozoic growth of North America was studied by Whitmer, and Stephen Carl Stormer had explained this activity in its study. Okay, so the late Dovinian period, that is about 380 million years ago, where antler orogeny, and antler orogeny is is a a tectonic event that had begun late Dominion period. Okay, so this Anglo orogeny, and will continue to Somalia orogeny. These are all periods of orogenic activities, and accumulating these liminar Lamard orogenesis, and all these are various periods of Earth deformation. The topographic height of orogenic mountain is related to the principle of isostasy. So, as we have studied isostasy, we know what is the principle of isostasy, by given by part, and that is balance of downward gravitational force upon a upward thrust of a mountain range. Okay, so that is basically based on the buoyant upward force exerted by the dense underlying mantle. So the erosion of overlying strata in orogenic belt, and isostatic adjustment to the removal of the overlying areas. Could you please hold on? Okay. So Erosion of overlying strata in orogenic belt and isostatic adjustment to the removal of the overlying mass of records can bring deeply buried strata to the surface. This erosional process is also called as unroofing, and resulting to expose the the former deeply buried strata is called as exhumation. Okay, so these are all physiographic of orogenic activities. So orogenic event may be studied as a tectonic structure event and geographic event. Okay, so again, let's come back to the original slide where we were talking about. So what happens in fault block mountains? So in fault block mountains, there's a large area, wide broken areas which are faulted, and it one area that subducts and another area arises leaves on the tensional. So it is more of a a force of a tensional force, and foot wall moves up relatively to the hanging wall. So this is a foot wall that moves upward, and the hanging wall moves downward, so it creates a sudden elevation here. So this makes a host formation here and the thrust formation here. Okay, that is how fault block mountains look like. So you will in fault block mountains you will see a sudden change in the elevation in real grounds. Okay, so that is tile fold block mountain range in Sierra Nevada form east steep side of a block fault, and that is Arsenal Adam has taken this picture. It shows that there's a one steep side of this mountain. So it shows that this is a thrusted area which is risen up, and this is an area which is subducting here, are an example of fault mountains. That for this is tilted fault block are like Sierra Nevada. Here, if you see here, you have a steep. Here in this area, you will have a steep cut. Okay, so the central cross consent of the extrusive igneous rocks are exposed also. So in fall with it is being exposed to the elements of erosion, you will have batholite exposed to these areas. Then you have Salt Lake City. This is also in America. This is typical block for mountain system that you will come across. There one slip will also have side will have a steep ridge on along the elevation. So then you have another fold block mountain system, that is Grand Canyon fold mountains. That here also the fault Canyon fault. If you see here, they are subducting. These are having a sudden change in the elevation. Okay, so then we have next when we go to, so what happens in fault mountains is that host and garbons happens. So the area which the land which subduct niche submerge niche downwards, it is called garbon, and the land earth which is lifted up is called host. Okay, so alternating normal fault leads to characteristic pattern called host and garbon system. So an area under tension will often have multiple mountain range as a result. Okay, so this will be an example of fold mountains. So host and carbon scapes here. This is how it looks like in origin. So if you go in areas like Middle East also, you will see a structural change in the where block mountains are rising up. So there are two mountain systems here on the two Arabian peninsular part, where Red Sea is dividing here. So in Morocco region, you will have one side of whole block mountain, and there is another sea between here, because the land is subducting downward. And then you have in the Sudan and Ethiopian region, you will have another whole block mountain here, and divided by this is an African part, and this is an Arabian Sea part. It's on the Red Sea and the northern coast of the continent. The basin and the range provinces. Just hold on. Yeah. So the basin and the range provinces, tilted fault mountains in Nevada, results of host and carbon systems. The Nevada is under tension because of the rising magma, which is unzipping the inner system all the way from the Baja California, Californic region. Okay, just to hold on. Yeah. So reverse fault mountains is that, it is because of the compressional fold when the, two plane, one is, transverse is like when the two system is falling, moving up and down, and this happens when the two system is moving towards each other and are also slipping along its fault line. So one platform which is moving upward will always overhang the other wall. So it is a compressional working, and hanging wall moves up relatively to the footwall. The two types are low angle and high angle of reverse fault. So the individual layer can move about hundreds of kilometers. Alps are greater example of these mountain systems. So this is how it is. It looks like seal rocks system. Okay. Okay. So the classical example of this is an angle reverse fault from Sawtooth Mountains in USA. This is a Sawtooth Mountains. It has a jagged formation. That's why this is called Sawtooth. So you will have a see, if you see here, this is an inclined towards this way, and there's a steep wall, a very steep wall on the other end, right? So this is how it looks like. All right, the reverse fold. So this is a filtration as a classical example of reverse fault. Then we have fold mountains. That is, fold mountains are thrusted. Uh, Walled main cause of the fold and mountains, and where the rock do not fault its folds, so either it is symmetrical or it is asymmetrical. Okay, just hold on. Okay. Now, when it is symmetrical fold, it will have both the limbs of the fold will have a symmetry in it. Okay. Then we have this folding will happen when these plate is moving, and but this is way beneath the surface, the crustal area. So that's why there is a folding which is happening. It's a compressional activity. Fold. This is anti-syncline will take place here. So this is an asymmetrical fold, and syncline will be a down fold. Anti-syncline is an upfold movement. Okay, where it will, up, this is an anti-syncline, this upward movement, and syncline is a downward movement. This is a syncline, this area is syncline. Okay, so this is how, this is a classic fold terrain, well developed anti-syncline. So these are anti-syncline. These upward movements are anti-syncline, and the downward folds are syncline. Okay, so Appalachian Mountains of USA, Himalayan mountain range in Asia, Atlas Mountains again in North Africa are all fold examples of fold mountains. Zagro course zones are alternating and anti syncline and syncline areas here. If you see here, it is an aerial image which shows you, Zagros mountain, which is in, Middle East, Iran. And this mountain shows a clear, fold into the formation. Okay. Okay. Then we have this Sawtooth Range in Idaho, that is also in USA, Lake Ellis. So this mountain looks like a tooth, and it is a example of fold mountains also. Okay. So there are areas, then we have volcanic mountains. Type of volcanic mountains are shield volcanoes and composite volcanoes. Shield volcanoes are, and composite volcanoes. We are going to take it in detail. Hotspot areas, there is gentle sloping and basaltic lava flow in these regions. Okay. Then we have uh, basaltic lava flow, that is compressive forces and basaltic compression will result into these type of shield mountains, uh, like Mauna Loa, it is in Hawaiian Island. Kilua Island will also have the dome shaped shield shaped volcanoes. Mauna Loa, in here, this is a volcanic here which you see, and Kilua Mountain here. This is the two mountain ranges are shield volcanoes and have a basaltic hotspots. So you see the rock, the soil texture and the color also in these regions. Then we have composite volcanoes that encounters a subduction zone. In this, what happens is, mm, from the magma chamber, when magma comes out from the dike, it not only leaves one exit point but has a several small exit points, which forms a small volcano all by itself. Okay. So anti-diet composition and steep cone explosive are part of composite volcano types. Mount Rainier is an example of composite volcanoes. Okay, there are several vents which moves apart from these main volcanic hill. Okay. Then you have Agua Appalachian, Ecuador mountain volcano, that is also an explosive type of volcanoes. We have studied about the various types of volcanoes, and we are studying it under orogeny also. Oceanic volcanic environment will have, why do shield and composite volcanoes differs in compositions in two, whether you have a continental volcanoes or seafloor volcanoes. So basaltic magma rises along the fracture through the basaltic layer due to the absence of granitic crystal layer among magma are not changed in composition, and they form basaltic volcanoes. Whereas mountain belts have thick roots of granite rocks, and magma rises slowly or intermittently along the fractures in the crust. So during this passage through the granite layer, magmas are commonly modified or changed in the composition and erupt on the surface to form volcano and constructed the non-basaltic rocks. The complex mountain systems, like we have in case of Himalayas. Himalayas being a full mountain, it is a very complex system of mountain ranges. So it is a continental collision, and tend to have a little to everything in it, like volcanoes are also there, folds are also there, faults are also there, normal fold mountains are also there. Volcanic events are, like, for example, when we talk about Jwalaji is one of the area where it gives an example that there is a crack or fissure in the area which vents out volcanic activities. So it is a complex system of mountain ranges. It is not only fold mountains, but it has a complex mountain system. Like there is a magma chamber in between, which releases mountainic mountain geothermal hotspots are also associated in these mountain ranges. Okay, there are no. I have just given one example, but there are many geothermal hotspots in the Himalayan mountain ranges. Alps are also the same of same type, like Himalayas. So Mount Everest and Kombyo, ice fall from the Kala Pathar and Nepal Himalaya in this region. uh, these are having complex system of, like, if you go to Kailash, you will have fault mountains. If you go to different parts of the Himalayas, you will come across different complexity in this. Andes is a classical example of orogenic belt, that is Cordillera. So Andes runs all along the boundary of the South America, Andes Mountains. Okay, so Andes, this is being an example of generic mountain systems. It moves all along the continental ridge. The compressional cause expansion, layer rock formed and thrusting faulting. Igneous intrusion, that is plutons and underplating also happens here. Then you have regions of metamorphism in the this area. So what happens is a Nasdaq plate is going under, as we have studied. The Nasdaq plate is a small plate. It's not a very big plate apart from Pacific belt plate. Nasdaq plate is a smaller plate along the South American continent, and it not only have compressional forces, it has a divergent forces, making a complex system of layer of rocks forming, having chambers of hotspots of magma in between. So this is just a minute. Yeah, so oceanic plate is there, accretion here, and igneous arcs are there. Then you have foreland folds and faults, and cratons also folding here. Okay, just could you hold on? Yeah. Okay, so this is an anatomy of orogenic belts. Mountain orogeny, in a summary, let's talk about the entire orogenic, formation. Like orogeny, that is a mountain building process. Plate tectonic uses to expand mountain buildings. Plate collision, that are three types, like oceanic plate collision, oceanic continental plate collision, and continental plate collision. Forces are tensional forces and compressional forces and shear forces, which works in mountain buildings. Mountain types are fault mountains, fold mountains, volcanic mountains, and complex mountains. There are known example of each of these fold mountains that we have come across. So the mountain formation occurs through a number of mechanisms we have learned in this chapter. So the mountain complex results from irregular succession of tectonic responses due to seafloor spreading, shifting of lithosphere plates, transformation faults, and colliding of the plates, and several more other reasons along associated with it. So area that are rifting apart, such as mid ocean ridges and East African rift, has a mountain due to the thermal buoyancy related to the hot mantle underneath the crust. So the hot buoyancy is known as the dynamic topography. In strike slip orogeny, such as St Andrews fault, restraining bend, results in regions of localized crustal shortening and mountain building without a plate origin, wide of the orogeny. Hotspot volcanism also results in the formation of isolated mountains and mountain chains. You know, uh, it Isolated mountain chains, as like, let's talk about volcanic activity that looks like more, present like, plate boundaries, and they are, essentially to produce a plate of tectonism. Regions can also experience uplift as a result of domination of, orogenic lithosphere, and in which an unstable portion of cold lithospheric root dips down into the asthenospheric mantle and decrease the density of the lithosphere and cause the buoyant uplift. For example, an example is like Sierra Nevada in California. The range of fault block mountains experience renewed uplift due to the buoyant magnetism after a delimitation of orogenic root beneath them. So final uplift and, erosion relates to epirogenesis activities in the system of mountain buildings. Okay, so when we finally the upliftment and erosion relating to epirogenesis, which is a large scale vertical motion of, proportion of continent with uh, much associated foldings, metamorphism, and deformations. It can create a local topographic heights. Okay, like Mount Randall in USA, in Canada. Uh, then Trans Canada Highway between, Baffin and Canyon can provide a classic example of a mountain that cuts in deep dipping layer of rocks. So the millions of years ago, a collision caused by orogenic fossic of, horizontal layer of an ancient ocean crust to be thrusted up of to an angle of about 50 to 60 degree elevated. So the lift of Randall Mountain, which is one sweeping, tree line, smooth surfaces, and one with the sharp, edge on the yeah. So it shows that the sharp edge uplifted the layer which are exposed, and there is an another layer which has a, covering of vegetation, which are quite, well developed vegetation. Okay, so the now let's come to the historical concept of this. Before, we have developed development of geological concepts during 19th century. The presence of marine fossils in the mountains was the example of, in the, books, many biblical books that were found to explain these activities. So in 13th century, the Dominican scholars like Albert the Great position that the erosion also is known to occur and are a part of mountain building processes. Uh, then you have Gustav's statement recognizing different, classes of orogenic belts, including the alpine types, that is orogenic belt, type typecasting of various, based on various time prolongity, and based on the available observation from the, metamorphic differences in the orogenic belt of Europe and North America. H.J. Zwart H.J. Zwart in 1967 had proposed the three type of orogenic relationship to the tectonic setting and the style of, colloidal development. Okay, so at the end, I would like to conclude that apart from, the plate movement, and this orogenic activity is basically the upliftment of the earth, making mountain buildings and plateaus, and it is, one of the major features, that comes up on into the surface of the earth. Okay, I would request all of you to go to your LMS and take the quiz. And with the quiz, for the day. Thanks.